With the release of each new Android operating system comes new changes that offer security and performance improvements and enhance the user experience of Android as a whole. To make sure your app users have the best experience, it's essential to understand the dynamics of different operating systems. That's why, in this video, you'll be introduced to Android operating system, or OS images, and their role in development. Android OS images are just versions or copies of Android operating systems that are used by an emulator. With the help of these Android OS images, your app can leverage the features of any operating system in the market. For example, if you wanted to test the most recent releases, you could download the most recent Android OS image and run it on the emulator to experience the OS. Likewise, if you wanted to test your app against an older OS, you could, for example, download the Android Lollipop system image and run that. As a developer, through the OS images, you can enjoy the built-in features of an operating system using the application programming interface, or API level. This is a whole value, like API level 30, that uniquely identifies new features that have been released for a particular OS. As the number increases, more functionalities are added. Currently, the most recent Android OS images available for developers in Android Studio range from version 8, codename Oatmeal Cookie, released in 2017, to version 13, codename Tiramisu. More specifically, after the release of Oatmeal Cookie in 2017, came Pistachio Ice Cream in 2018, Quince Tart in 2019, and Red Velvet Cake in 2020. These were followed by Snow Cone in 2021, Snow Cone V2 in March 2022, and Tiramisu. With each release of a new version, the API level increases, with the most recent OS image having the highest API level. Now that you know more about the OS images, let's explore how to access them in Android Studio. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can access Android OS images on Android Studio. In the Welcome to Android Studio window, click the three-dotted menu icon on the upper right-hand side to access more actions. Then, click on the Virtual Device Manager. On the Device Manager page, click Create Device. This opens the virtual device configuration where you can create an emulator. You can choose from the different device categories, but let's continue with phone. You can then choose a device definition. The different devices are listed with information on things like their size and resolution. Let's pick Pixel 2 and click Next. This is where you have access to your OS image. So, once you select a device definition, you must then specify what type of image you want to install for that device. On this page, you have access to many images of operating systems, which are like copies of the different operating systems, such as API level 33, if the target of your app is Android API 33. If you click on Download next to the release name of your chosen system image, it will download the selected OS. That's how you can access system images in Android Studio. Later, you will learn how to use your system image to run an actual emulator. You have now learned about Android OS images and how to access them in Android Studio, preparing you to use an OS image to run your own app through an emulator.